So Mafia 3 is first and foremost the story of Lincoln Clay. Maybe the main thing to know about Lincoln is that he's an orphan. He grew up looking for, again, a semblance of family, someplace to belong. He looked for that in gangs, he looked for it in the church, he looked for it in the military. The game is set in 1968 in our version of New Orleans, and Lincoln has just returned from Vietnam, and he falls in with the black mob. During the course of the story, Lincoln recruits 3 other criminals to help him build this criminal empire. And in many ways, it's kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know, these are other hardened gangsters that have been under the thumb of the Italian mob boss running the city. They're important in the narrative because they not only comment on what Lincoln is doing and help define Lincoln in a lot of ways by their reactions to the way that the player decides to play the game. They also provide you what we call services. So these can range from muscle to help you out on a mission, to snipers to provide covering fire, to a mobile store that can deliver weapons and ammo in the field, to the police, the ability to bribe the cops, right, and get the cops off your tail for a while. So that's one important component that they'd bring. And then they also can control hideouts that you capture. So they'll run and operate these hideouts for you and give you a cut of the take, because they truly are like your capos, kicking up to you as the mob boss. But the really interesting thing about that is every time you assign a hideout, it's a unique reward given to you by those lieutenants based on the lieutenant and the hideout. So if I were to give the cistern to Vito, I get one reward that I only get by giving the cistern to Vito. If I give it to Cassandra, I get a different reward that I only get by giving that particular hideout to Cassandra, as an example. In our minds, it is the end of kind of the romanticized view of the mob. We're no longer viewing the mob or seeing the mob as this kind of old boys club or this social club. It really, by the late 60s, had been exposed as this criminal, organization that did, in some cases, incredibly heinous things. And a lot of that had to do with the influx of heroin and other things going on, which we do touch upon in the game as well. And then you also have, obviously, Vietnam, and then you have the civil rights movement going on as well. So all those things, kind of pointed us towards a protagonist like Lincoln, somebody who is mixed race, but we do have a line in the game, he looks black, so he's treated as black by most of the city, not everybody, certainly in the black mob. It's treated a little bit differently, but the rest of the city does look at him as black, and we don't shy away from that. I mean, we're not, trying to get on a soapbox or make any dramatic social commentary, but again, we want to be authentic to the time period, and that's, unfortunately, part of the time period is this, of the rampant racism in especially southern cities like this. And then the setting of New Orleans, for us, really came down to, okay, it's 1968, there is huge social upheaval, there's racial tension, there's Vietnam raging, you've got, really high profile assassinations. You have, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got this fantastic music and these really amazing vehicles, just incredible cars of the era. How do we take all that and put it into kind of one environment, and a city that offers us a lot of different types of environments, right? And really, the perfect choice was our version of New Orleans, because again, it's set in the South. You've got a downtown area, but you also have, kind of the rich enclave, and you've got the lower class areas, and you've got a bayou area, and then you have this crush of music and cultures, and hopefully in the demo you saw as we were walking down our version of Bourbon Street, you can feel that, just that vibe. It's a sexy city, which we like. It's, it's a city that's alive at all hours of night. And we felt like putting a criminal ecosystem into that would really, be exciting. So Mafia 3 will be coming in 2016 on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.